It was a crisp autumn morning in New York City, the kind where the leaves crunch underfoot like forgotten dreams, and the air buzzed with the electric hum of Midtown Manhattan. November 9, 2025, exactly 1 month after the explosive episode that had rocked the daytime TV world. But let's rewind, because this story didn't start with a snap or a storm off. No, it began in the glittering underbelly of Hollywood ambition, where egos clash like cymbals and secrets simmer like overcooked pasta. Mark Consuelos, the silver fox heartthrob of Live with Kelly and Mark, had always been the charming rogue of morning television. At 54, with his chiseled jawline and that perpetual twinkle in his eye, the one that made housewives swoon and executives green with envy, he was riding high. His latest project, a gritty indie film called Shadows in the Spotlight, had premiered at Tribeca to rave reviews. Critics called it a raw exploration of fame's dark side, and Mark played a washed-up actor grappling with cancel culture and personal demons. Ironic, really, because that's exactly what was about to unfold on live TV. Across town, in the hallowed halls of ABC's Upper West Side studio, the view reigned supreme as the queen of hot takes and hotter tempers. Joy Behar, the 83-year-old firebrand with a wit sharper than a Ginsu knife, had been holding court for decades. She'd outlasted co-hosts, controversies, and even the occasional wardrobe malfunction. Joy didn't just moderate discussions, she ignited them. Her latest crusade, calling out Hollywood's toxic masculinity masquerading as charm. And Mark, he'd unwittingly become her perfect piñata. The invitation arrived via a polished email from the producers. Join us for a lively chat about your new film and the state of male vulnerability in media. Mark, ever the pro, accepted. Kelly Ripa, his wife and co-host, had teased him over breakfast. Just don't let Joy grill you like that time she roasted De Niro. Mark laughed it off, sipping his espresso. Piece of cake, babe. I'm playing a vulnerable guy, it's basically method acting. Cut to the studio at 9:45 a.m. on October 9th. The audience, a sea of middle-aged women in bold lipstick and sensible pumps, clapped enthusiastically as Whoopi Goldberg introduced the guest. Ladies, we have the one, the only, Mark Consuelos. Cheers erupted. Mark sauntered out in a tailored navy blazer, his smile disarming as he hugged each co-host. Sonny Hostin gushed about his abs. From an old Riverdale scene, Sarah Haynes complimented his cologne, and Alyssa Farah Griffin whispered something about his philanthropy. All was well, or so it seemed. The segment kicked off innocently. Whoopi lobbed the first softball. Mark, tell us about Shadows in the Spotlight. What's the heart of this story? Mark leaned into the mic, his voice smooth as velvet. It's about a man who built his life on charm but realizes too late that charm without accountability is just a prettier cage. I drew from my own life, fatherhood, marriage, the grind of this industry. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the real power move. The crowd ate it up. Nods, murmurs of agreement. Then Joy, perched at the end of the table like a hawk eyeing a mouse, adjusted her glasses and struck. Vulnerability, that's a nice word for it. But let's talk real talk, Mark. In this film, your character has a history of indiscretions. Cheating scandals, aggressive outbursts on set. Sound familiar? I mean, Hollywood's full of guys like that, charming on camera, creeps off it. How do you square that with being a family man? The studio went pin drop silent. Mark's smile faltered for a split second, but he recovered with a chuckle. Joy, you always go for the jugular. Look, my character's arc is about owning your mess-ups. I've had my wild days, back in the 90s, before Kelly grounded me. But that's growth. Isn't that what we're all chasing? Joy wasn't buying it. She leaned forward, her eyes narrowing like laser beams. Growth. Honey, growth doesn't erase the footprints you leave on people's backs climbing the ladder. I read that interview where you joked about conquering roles like you conquer women. Cute in 1995. Creepy in 2025. And don't get me started on those live segments where you flirt with every guest like it's your job. Is that vulnerability, or just good old-fashioned machismo? Gasps rippled through the audience. Sarah Haynes tried to intervene. Joy, maybe we can pivot to his work with at-risk youth. But Joy waved her off like a pesky fly. No, PR spin later. We're talking truth bombs today. Mark, You waltz in here looking like a GQ ad, but what's under the polish? Are you part of the problem, or are you actually evolving? Mark's face hardened. The twinkle, gone, replaced by a steely glint that hadn't been seen since his soap opera villain days. He set down his coffee mug, gently, but with purpose, and locked eyes with Joy. Lady, I've respected this show for years. Watched you call out the big dogs, Trump, Weinstein, the whole circus. But this feels personal, like you invited me to celebrate my work, then ambushed me with yesterday's headlines. If you want to drag me for my past, fine. But at least have the guts to say it straight. You think I'm a fraud. The audience murmured, a mix of shock and thrill. Whoopi jumped in. Whoa, let's keep it civil. But the fuse was lit. Joy, unfazed, fired back with her signature cackle. Fraud. Oh, please. I'm just asking the questions America wants answered. You're no victim here, Mark, you're a survivor because the system lets guys like you survive. Women, we get cancelled for less. That did it. Mark's chair scraped back with a screech that echoed like a gunshot. He stood, microphone in hand, his voice low and thunderous. You know what, Joy? I've taken hits. From critics, from trolls, from my own mirror. But this is bully pulpit disguised as journalism. I'm not here to be your cautionary tale. He snapped his fingers, not in sass, but in punctuation, a sharp crack that silenced the room. Then, without another word, he turned on his heel, strode across the stage, and vanished through the curtains. The door to the green room slammed like the final chord of a rock opera. Chaos erupted. Whoopi called for commercial, her face a mask of professional poise masking mild panic. The co-hosts exchanged wide-eyed glances. Sunny whispered, "Did that just happen?" Alyssa texted furiously, probably to her crisis PR guy. And Joy, she sat back, sipping her tea, a sly smile creeping across her lips. Well, that was enlightening, she quipped to the camera as the break hit. Off air, she turned to Sarah. Told you he'd crack. Men always do when you poke the bear. Backstage, Mark paced the green room like a caged panther. His publicist, a harried woman named Tina with a Bluetooth perpetually glued to her ear, burst in. Mark, what the hell? Ratings gold, but ABC's furious. Joy's already tweeting. Accountability isn't optional. Mark ran a hand through his hair, exhaling sharply. Call Kelly. Tell her I'm fine. Just done with these Shark Tanks. He grabbed his jacket, nodded to the stunned crew, and slipped out a side exit into the alley. Paparazzi swarmed like locusts, flashes popping as he hailed a cab. Studio 54 vibes, but make it midday, he muttered to the driver, heading straight for home. By noon, the internet was ablaze. Hashtag Mark walks off trended worldwide, sandwiched between election drama and kitten videos. Clips of the exchange racked up 10 million views on TikTok alone. Feminists hailed Joy as a warrior queen. Mark's fanbase, dubbed Consuelos Crusaders, rallied with memes of him as a soap opera hero storming off set. Kelly Ripa posted a cryptic Instagram story, a photo of their wedding rings intertwined, captioned, "Through the fire, always." Subtext: "Back off my man." ABC, ever the opportunists, milked it for all it was worth. A special extended episode aired the next day, with Joy defending her stance. I didn't mean to run him off. I meant to run him honest. Whoopi mediated a tense roundtable where the co-hosts dissected the fallout. Joy's right. Tough love builds character, Sunny opined. Alyssa, playing devil's advocate, added, but Mark's evolved. We saw it in his eyes. Ratings spiked 40%, proving once again that drama is daytime's lifeblood. As for Mark, he holed up in their Upper East Side penthouse for 2 days, binge-watching The Sopranos and soul-searching over Kelly's homemade empanadas. On day 3, he emerged with a Substack essay titled, "The Snap Heard Round the Studio, Why Walking Away is the Ultimate Power Move." In it, he unpacked his 90s wild child phase, yes, the rumored flings with co-stars, his therapy journey post-Riverdale, and how fatherhood to their 3 kids, Michael, Lola, and Joaquin, had rewritten his script. Joy challenged me, he wrote. Not to defend, but to reflect. Hollywood needs more of that. No filters, no walk-offs, just raw reckoning. Joy, in a rare olive branch moment, responded on The View. "Mark, if you're watching, come back. We'll talk fat injections next time. My butt's got plenty to spare." Laughter rippled through the audience. It wasn't forgiveness, but it was a truce. Months later, at the Golden Globes afterparty, fate, or a meddling publicist, threw them together again. Mark, nursing a scotch, spotted Joy across the room, holding court with Bette Midler. He approached, glass raised. To fiery exchanges, he toasted. Joy clinked her champagne flute, her eyes twinkling. And to men who know when to snap, and when to stay. In the end, the walk-off wasn't a scandal, it was a spark. It forced Mark to confront his armor, Joy to temper her torch, and America to remember, vulnerability isn't pretty, but damn if it isn't entertaining. And in the circus of showbiz, that's the real jackpot. Fade to black, roll credits. Because in Hollywood, every exit is just an entrance to somewhere louder.